There's a war happening right now, not with guns, not with bombs, with your attention. And the terrifying part, you're not even aware you're fighting it. Every scroll, every swipe, every just one more video, that's not entertainment, that's a slow bleed. How many productivity videos have you watched in the last year? 10, 20, 100? And here's the question that should keep you up tonight. Did your life actually change? I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. Because the system that feeds you all this knowledge, it was never designed to make you free. It was designed to make you useful. And useful people don't ask too many questions. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. No conspiracy theories, just science, just history, and more importantly, how to break out of it. If you've ever felt like you're running on a treadmill, like you're always busy but never getting anywhere, like you're consuming more but understanding less, then this video is going to explain why, and by the end, you'll know exactly what to do about it. Let's go. Every single one of us was processed through the same machine. You call it school. But here's what your school never taught you. School wasn't designed by educators. It was designed by industrialists. Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford. These men built factories, and factories needed one thing above all else: workers who would show up on time, follow orders, not ask questions. So they built a machine to produce exactly that. John Taylor Gatto won Teacher of the Year in New York City 3 times. Then he quit publicly because he realized what he was actually doing. He wrote a book called Dumbing Us Down. In it, he described what he called the hidden curriculum. School is the prison where children are kept from real life, trained to be obedient, rewarded for regurgitating information they'd never actually use. Think about your own school experience. Did it teach you how to think, or did it teach you how to sit still and follow instructions? Now here's where it gets really interesting. In 1961, psychologist Stanley Milgram did an experiment. He told people they were administering electric shocks to someone else. With each wrong answer, the voltage increased, all the way to lethal levels. 65% of people kept pressing the button, even when they heard screaming, even when the person begged them to stop. Why? Because a man in a lab coat told them to. Let that number sink in. 2 out of 3 people will inflict pain on command, not because they're evil, because they're conditioned. Then there's Solomon Asch, 1951. He put people in a room with actors, showed them a line, asked which of 3 other lines matched it. Simple, obvious. But every actor deliberately chose the wrong answer, out loud, together. 75% of real participants agreed with the obvious lie, just to fit in, just to not be the odd one out. So here's what this means. The system doesn't need to force you into compliance. It just needs to put you in an environment where everyone is doing the same thing. Give you an authority figure to trust. Make dissent feel dangerous, and you will comply every time. You're not weak, you're not stupid, you're programmed, and the programming starts young. Now that they have a population trained to obey, they need one more thing. They need you to not pay attention to anything that actually matters. That's where the noise machine comes in. Noam Chomsky, probably the most important intellectual of the 20th century, co-wrote a book called Manufacturing Consent with Edward Herman. And it revealed the actual function of media. Media doesn't tell you what to think, it tells you what to think about. There's a reason they call it the news cycle. It keeps you spinning, moving, consuming, but never thinking. Chomsky identified 5 invisible filters that shape everything you see. Filter 1, ownership. Who owns the media? Corporations, billionaires, people with interests. They decide what's news and what isn't. Filter 2, advertising. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Advertisers don't want content that makes you think. They want content that makes you buy. Filter 3, sourcing. News depends on official sources, governments, PR firms, press releases. The powerful control what's available to report. Filter 4, flack. Say something inconvenient, get attacked. Lawsuits, PR campaigns. The cost of dissent is designed to be too high. Filter 5, ideology. The belief that we have a free press when the spectrum of acceptable debate is carefully controlled. Now zoom out. 300 million pieces of new content on Facebook alone. Every single day. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. More content in one day than you could consume in 10 lifetimes. The noise isn't accidental, it's engineered. While you're arguing about which celebrity said something offensive, a corporate merger goes through that affects your healthcare. While you're sharing outrage about a foreign crisis, a trade deal ships your job overseas. The algorithm doesn't surface truth. It surfaces content that triggers emotional reactions. Because emotional content gets engagement. Engagement gets ad revenue. Tim Wu documented this in The Attention Merchants. He called it the attention economy. Your focus is harvested, packaged, sold. Here's the part they don't want you to understand. The more distracted you are, the more controllable you become. People with no time to think are people who can't organize, can't question, can't resist. George Orwell wrote in 1984, "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears." But the modern version is even more insidious. They don't need to reject your evidence. They just need to bury it under so much noise that you never find it. Everything so far has been about external forces, schools, media, algorithms. But here's what nobody talks about. The system also works from the inside. In 1957, psychologist Leon Festinger studied a doomsday cult. They believed a flood would destroy the world on a specific date. Festinger watched what happened when the date passed and nothing occurred. Instead of admitting they were wrong, the cult doubled down. They became more convinced, not less. They reinterpreted their salvation as proof they were chosen. Festinger called it cognitive dissonance, the psychological pain of holding two contradictory beliefs. And here's what he discovered about how humans resolve that pain. We don't update our beliefs, we update our reality. Real example, tobacco executives, Philip Morris. Internal documents later made public proved their own research showed cigarettes cause cancer. They knew, they had the science, but did they quit? Did they confess? No. They spent decades publicly denying what they privately knew to be true. And here's the part that will blow your mind. They designed marketing to create psychological dependency. They weren't selling cigarettes. They were selling a version of the smoker's identity, the cool rebel, the sophisticated adult. Quitting meant losing part of yourself. Now apply this to everything else. Apple customers who spend $3,000 on a laptop, they will defend the brand more aggressively than Apple employees. Why? Not because they've objectively evaluated the product, because acknowledging it's overpriced means acknowledging they made a bad decision. And that feels like an attack on who they are. Your identity is not just who you are, it's who you've invested in being. And the system knows exactly how to weaponize that. Naomi Klein documented this in No Logo. Modern corporations don't just sell products, they sell identity. Brand loyalty is engineered. Tribalism is weaponized. Political affiliation becomes a proxy for self-worth. Criticize the system, you're not critiquing a policy, you're attacking them. Aldous Huxley saw this coming in 1932. He wrote in Brave New World, "The perfect dictators have learned to give the people just enough freedom to feel in control while remaining thoroughly dependent, not imprisoned, not oppressed, just comfortable, distracted, invested in their own captivity. The cage isn't locked from the outside. You locked it yourself, and you keep paying rent." Everything we've talked about, schools, media, cognitive traps, has been refined in the digital age into something far more sophisticated. I'm talking about the technology in your pocket, the infinite scroll, invented by Asa Raskin. He now calls it a slot machine for your brain. Every pull gives you a variable reward, sometimes interesting, sometimes nothing, sometimes deeply emotional, unpredictable, addictive. Your brain was never designed for this. And the metrics, the like button, the follower count, the notification badge, these are not neutral features, they are engineered dopamine delivery systems. Each notification gives you a tiny hit of social validation. Each like feels like acceptance. And here's the cruel irony. The people most susceptible to this are people who feel most alone. When you're hungry for connection, these systems exploit that hunger with surgical precision. Douglas Rushkoff wrote Program or Be Programmed. He put it bluntly, if you're not programming, you're being programmed. The defaults are not neutral. The interface is not innocent. Every design choice, the red notification badge, the autoplay, the algorithm was made by someone with an agenda, and their agenda is keep you on the platform as long as possible. But there's another layer, cultural, hustle culture, side hustles, rise and grind. Sleep is for the weak. This is not wellness advice. This is exhaustion as a service. Why? If you're always working, you don't have time to question the system. If you're always busy, you don't have energy to imagine alternatives. If you're always tired, compliance feels like rest, and they've normalized it. Debt is normal, overwork is normal, anxiety is normal, burnout is normal, nothing to see here, keep moving. Neil Postman saw this coming in 1985. He wrote in Amusing Ourselves to Death, "Television does not report on the world, it defines it." Replace television with algorithm, and he was describing 2026 with perfect accuracy. The medium shapes the message, and the medium was built to extract value from your attention. Let's bring it all together. The system has three layers: external, schools that train compliance; middle media that shapes what you think about, internal psychology that makes you defend your own cage. And all three have been optimized in the digital age into something incredibly sophisticated. But here's the good news. It's still just design, and design can be questioned, can be changed, can be escaped. Here's what I want you to take away. Number one, understand the architecture. You can't resist what you can't see. The system is not magic, it's design. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Number two, guard your attention. Your focus is the scarcest resource you have, not time, attention. The ability to concentrate deeply on one thing for an extended period is now a revolutionary act. Number three, embrace cognitive dissonance. When reality contradicts what you believe, when you feel that uncomfortable tension, don't run from it. Lean into it. That's where growth lives. Number four, question the default. Who benefits from the system you're participating in right now? Who built this platform, this job, this belief, and for whose benefit? And number five, think in private. Not on social media, not in comment sections, in the shower, on walks, in silence. The most dangerous thing to any system built on control is a person who thinks for themselves, clearly, quietly, and without permission. Noam Chomsky said, "The purpose of propaganda is to make a given set of facts appear as the only reality. Don't accept their reality. Don't accept their timeline. Don't accept their noise. You were not born to be a good worker, a good consumer, or a good conformist. You were born to think. They want you stupid, distracted, confused, too busy to question. But here's what they don't want you to know. Thinking for yourself is not that hard. It's just not convenient. And real thinking, deep, private, uncomfortable thinking, is the most dangerous thing in the world to anyone who wants you compliant, confused, and consuming. So don't be useful. Be aware. Be awake. Be dangerous. They want you stupid. Don't give it to them."